Alrighty, how's it going, Giant fans? Hank here, back at you with another video on the Big Blue Avenue YouTube channel. And folks, let me give you a friendly neighborhood reminder. If you want to follow us on all of our social medias, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Big Blue Avenue. And of course, if you like what you see and you want to see more short videos like this, please hit that big red button down below and give us a subscribe, give us a like, and give us a comment. Let us know how you feel about certain Giants moves. So the next big news that we are going to be talking about today, Brandon Brown has been hired to be the Giants' new assistant general manager. He will be replacing longtime assistant Kevin Abrams, who has been with the Giants for 24 years, and he has held the position of assistant GM for the past 20. Kevin Abrams volunteered to give up the title if Joe Schoen wanted to hire his own guy to help, and that's exactly what Joe Schoen did. However, he will remain with the Giants as a senior vice president of football operations and strategy. So overall, I think this is a win. I think it's definitely important to keep Abrams around. He's definitely somebody that can help Joe Schoen. But now let's talk about Brandon Brown. This guy is a Long Island native. He went to high school at, I believe he went to, it was St. Anthony's, and he was defensive back at Fordham University. Broke into the NFL as a pro personnel intern in 2012 with the New York Jets. So right there, that's a lot of New York connections right off the bat. Worked at Boston College for a couple years, 2013-14, before spending a few years in the Colts scouting department. But now let's talk about with the Eagles. So with the Eagles, he was hired in 2017, and for the next 5 years, he essentially worked his way up. He was originally the assistant director of pro scouting before he was moved up to the head director. And then this past season, he was promoted to being the director of player personnel. So right then and there, that's a lot of experience and a lot of moving up. So it seems to me the Eagles have really valued this guy over the past half decade. And, you know, he has been one of many Eagles executives that has been hired to other positions in higher power for other teams. So another example, Joe Douglas, Andrew Barry, and Ian Cunningham and Patrick Stewart. So it seems to me that the Eagles have developing a lot of young talent in regards to the executive department. And I think this is a good hire for the Giants for a few reasons. One, seems to me that he's a young mind and he can definitely be someone who can help Joe Schoen and bring in some new ideas and helping fix the Giants. And I think another way that this could very well be a win is he is someone who probably has some insider information, not just about, obviously, his previous employer, the Philadelphia Eagles, but, of course, other teams in the NFC East. So that very well could help Joe Schoen. But like I said, I think the fact that you're keeping Kevin Abrams around to help is still a win, even if he's not in the same position that he had been for the past 20-plus years. So other news that I would like to talk about besides the executive department, Kevin Scherer and Burton Burns, the linebackers and running backs coach respectively, are not expected to return as has been reported by Ryan Dunleavy. Burns, it looks like, is going to be retiring this season, so best of luck to him in his future endeavors. Other coaching changes, Derek Dooley, the tight ends coach, his contract has expired. Doesn't look like he will be back, and defensive backs coach Jerome Henderson is also being looked at as a defensive coordinator. I think he'll probably get interviewed, but as he is someone within the organization, I don't know if he's going to get the job. Probably not. However, let's look at an updated list of the defensive coordinator candidates. Wink Martindale, as I mentioned, got an interview. So did Sean Desai, who had been a secondary coach for a while with the Bears before last season. He was promoted to being their defensive coordinator. However, he did not last long in that position. He was one of the many casualties of Matt Nagy and his coaching staff that did not last. And so it'll be interesting to see if he gets another chance, whether it be the Giants and whether it be elsewhere. I don't know if he has enough experience to where I would want the Giants to hire him as part of their coaching staff. However, some other names that are intriguing, Jim Schwartz, who last year was the Titans' senior defensive assistant, but prior to that, he had been with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was their defensive coordinator during 5 seasons, including their Super Bowl season of 2017. He had a hand in improving the Philadelphia Eagles defense, and their defense was consistently pretty good during his time as defensive coordinator. So he's become a name that's sort of been pretty high on my list with regards to defensive coordinators. I certainly wouldn't be opposed to having him. Prior to that, he was the Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator during the 2000s before he was a head coach for the Lions. We know how that turned out, but still, I think he's definitely someone you would be totally willing to have as far as defensive coordinators go. Another name that was in the mix was Terrell Austin, who for the past few years was a senior defensive assistant and secondary coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, that name will not materialize as a new Giants defensive coordinator because with the retirement of Keith Butler, he has now taken on the opening as the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive coordinator. So overall, some interesting names. My personal preference is Wink Martindale and Jim Schwartz are at 2 and 3. I'm still hoping that Vic Fangio gets an interview. He, as I mentioned, has been experienced for a long time. His system has proven to be one of the more successful with regards to defensive coordinators, and the Giants would definitely be foolish if they do not give him a look as defensive coordinator eventually. But folks, that's about all I really have with regarding the Giants and the GM, the new assistant GM and the new defensive coordinator search. Once again, if you like what you saw, please hit that red button down below. Give us a subscribe, give us a like, and give us a comment. Do you think Brandon Brown was a good hire? Do you think his young mind will help Joe Schoen? And do you think Kevin Abrams staying on will definitely help as well? Also, who do you think will be the new defensive coordinator? I would love to interact. We would love to hear your comments. But folks, that'll wrap up this video for today. Folks, another friendly neighborhood reminder, our last live stream of the season will be on Thursday, February 10th. Tom and I will get together around 7 p.m. to discuss the latest with regards to Giants news with the coaching staff and, of course, some NFL draft prospects. But that'll wrap up this video. Until next time, I'm Hank and Dichter, and I will see you guys later.